Hi everyone, I'm Joe. Today it's time for me to do a book review of Maskerade, written by Pratchett. This was first published in 1995. It is the 18th Discworld novel and the 5th novel set within the Witches character subseries. This is a long-running fantasy series which is filled with humour, sarcasm and brilliant writing, characters and an amazing world, of which I dearly love. So, first of all, what is the Discworld itself? It is a large, flat, circular world which rests on the back of 4 very large elephants, which, logically as you'd expect, stand on the back of a very large world turtle which swims through space, and the sun orbits the disc and the turtle rather than the other way around, as is often the case with less interesting and imaginative worlds. This is a little bit more alternative and it lends itself to the humour extremely well. So the book starts off focusing on the character of Agnes Nitt, who is originally from the area of Lancra in the Ramtop Mountains, which is where the witches are from and the previous witches books are mostly set. She's basically bored of the life that she's leading in Lancra, so she sets off to make a name or find her own way in the world, as is often the case when you're fairly young. She's in her 20s of some kind, you're not entirely told, but that's roughly the age. And she ends up in Ankh-Morpork, which essentially is Pratchett's version of London, with every stereotype and trope of London, England, twisted and turned and made humorous jokes of, to really interesting and fun effects. After a few little mishaps in the city, she finds her way to the Ankh-Morpork Opera House. And what starts is essentially Pratchett having fun with every stereotype and trope and sort of image that is ever in any other form of media about opera houses and the theatre. He's been very sarcastic about it, he's having fun with it, and it's all very tongue-in-cheek, and you can tell the enjoyment that he's having with it. So as Agnes starts at the opera house, however, as a backup singer essentially in the chorus, although her role is obviously more varied, as is often the case with opera houses, they can sort of turn their hand to many other things and help out in other departments. A series of strange murders starts occurring. And this leads to sort of chaos basically, because murders in an opera house are meant to happen only on the actual stage in front of an audience, not actually the staff getting murdered and found hung up by ropes and things, which is not good for anybody involved, especially the person who is actually being on the end of a rope and is no longer breathing. It's unfortunate for everybody involved. At the same time this is starting to happen, the 2 main witches from Lancra, namely Granny Weatherwax and Nanny Og, they end up making a journey to Ankh-Morpork because Nanny Og, sometime previously, wrote a cookbook called The Joy of Snacks, obviously involving the joy of another word considerably shorter starting with S, and she never got any royalties for this, and Granny Weatherwax realises that she may have been done out of some money. Basically she's been sort of conned potentially. That doesn't go down with Granny Weatherwax, so she gets it into her head that they must go to Ankh-Morpork, see the publisher and get the money for the Joy of Snacks that Nanny Og is owed. And whilst they're there, they can obviously pop in on Agnes, who is obviously a local girl to them, and see how she's getting on. Frankly, in other words, they can interfere because that's what they frankly enjoy doing. And it starts from there. They have the coach ride from hell, from Lancra to Ankh-Morpork. Well, hell for everybody else involved. It's really nice for them, the 2 of them. For everybody else, yeah, it's not so enjoyable because they are not the easiest people to get on with, because they tend to assume that everybody will go along with what they want all the time, and It's really amusing, and there is another coach ride at the end of the book, which is also the coach ride from hell, part 2. So after this, they get into Ankh-Morpork, they have a few little encounters with different people in the city, get to the opera house, meet Agnes, and basically it's the two of them with Agnes are all involved in the plot of all these murders and strange goings on, and apparently there's a ghost in the opera house and a mysterious person who sends roses to people after performances, and all sorts of strange and mysterious goings on. There's chaos and madness and the usual massive sense of humour and sarcasm and sense of fun that Pratchett always puts in his plots and with his characters. And the characters are one of the things that make this book come alive, because obviously the main two being Granny Weatherwax and Nanyog. This time, instead of Magrat, who was in the previous Witches books, you've got Agnes Nitt. She is a very different personality from Magrat in the previous novels. She's a stronger personality, at least in a certain way. She thinks she knows her own mind well, and she contrasts and complements the other two rather well. And frankly, this is a very good time where you'll get to know the three of them, and you'll get to know them as this little witch group now, which is both really, really enjoyable. Several other major characters in this book are Christine, who is the principal singer, who doesn't really know how to sing very well. She's this sort of pretty girl who's there more for appearance than anything else, who becomes friends with Agnes. There is a sort of stage and a general sort of odd worker called Walter Plinge, who is an important character throughout the book. And there is Seldom Bucket. Strange name. He is the new owner of the opera house. He used to actually be in the world of cheese and dairy, and now he's brought himself, by buying the opera house, into what he thinks is this big glamorous world. Yeah, but he didn't expect all the murders and things. He thought it'd be a nice, calm retirement, and it's really not. It's not working out well for him, or indeed anybody else that wants a calm life, because the opera is a highly strung world. And frankly, this is a brilliant environment, and the world in general is just brilliant, because the opera house within Ankh-Morpork is just so well devised. It fits the city, it fits the characters, and you've got this small microcosm, this slice of life area and location that just works so well. It's written with such enjoyment and with a surprising eye for detail, where you can just imagine the characters walking between the different areas of the theatre, up and down stairs, in all these odd little rooms dotted all over the place. It was amazing to read and really fun. The journey to Ankh-Morpork, as I've said, is very brief but very memorable, and of course Lancret, which is only there briefly, is also done really well. So the location is Pratchett's strong point, well, one of many strong points with him. They are done with a sense of humour, enjoyment, and an amazing way of the world, whilst it's mad and wild, being, after all, a disc on elephants, on a turtle, swing through space. It sounds like it wouldn't work, but it does. Somehow everything fits together well, and it just flows so naturally that you can't help but enjoy the novel. And this novel does one thing extremely well. It brings out the tropes and the stereotypes of opera, of which there are many, and opera is known for the stereotypes almost more, frankly, in many ways than the actual operatic performances that they often give. Pratchett is going basically wild with this. He's being very sarcastic but respectful, just about, and enjoying himself immensely writing about all these ideas. The witches, he obviously loves the witches characters. They are a very different personality type to many of the people that work within that operatic world. So they are a contrast and frankly a bit of a shock to the system to many there, because they are not used to people being so direct. And Granny Weatherwax in particular, she's direct to her fault. you don't get anything past her. She's a brilliant character, and that contrast between the opera world characters is brilliant. And the other interesting little sort of theme or idea that this is in this book is the idea of knowing your own mind and knowing who you are, because this is the journey, in a sense, of Agnes trying to find who she is, or who she expects that she wants to be. But people expect certain things of her, and she's trying to find her own way, but she's also feeling as though she sort of wants to go along with what people expect of her. So it's a conflicted state to be, and one that is really interesting and fun. And really, some of the other Discworld books have got deeper meanings in them. This, I think, is often quite lighter in terms of other deeper meanings, because this is more about the humour and just Pratchett delving into the world of opera in a lot of detail, actually more than he normally does with things. He often writes about certain situations, stereotypes on a particular aspect of culture or life. In this, he delves into it in more detail, so it's really fun, well written and truly enjoyable, and I would highly recommend this if you want to read anything by Pratchett and just a fun, well written fantasy novel. And with that said, that is it for this review. So if you've read Maskerade by Pratchett, or you'd like to, or you've read any of the other Pratchett books and you want to talk about them, then please leave a comment and we can have a talk. All my social media links, as well as the Goodreads link to this book, can be found in the description box below, as always. And with that said, that is it for this review. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.